listening to tonight's show. You can connect with Jammin Jukebox Radio Show on Twitter at Jammin Jukebox or on Facebook at Jammin Jukebox Radio Show. Check out our website at thejamminjukebox.com. Also, follow us on Blog Talk, where you will be always up to date on every episode as we add it. Each episode is available for immediate download upon the conclusion of each broadcast, and as always, on iTunes. Thank you for joining us.
Well, hello, and welcome to Jammin Jukebox Radio Show. It is Friday Eve, as I like to call it, and I hope many of you are as stoked about tomorrow being Friday as I am. Boy, it's been a week, so I'm glad to finally be winding down and easing into the weekend starting tomorrow, and I want to welcome you to our show tonight. This is DJ Del Padon with you, and thank you everyone for being here. If you're brand new to the program, you're in for a treat tonight. We have got a wonderful guest that I'm going to be introducing to you in just a moment. I hope your day out there was great today, and as I said, we're all kind of getting psyched and ready for tomorrow. And what better way to ease into our weekend on this eve to bring to you someone that I am just ecstatic about. He is a hip-hop poet, and he has an awesome story to tell. His name is Charlie Scott, and without further ado, I'd love to introduce him to you now. Hello, Charlie, and welcome.
What's up, Dawn?
Hey, how are you?
I'm all right. Yourself?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And thank you so much for being here and taking a little time to spend with us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to talk.
Well, I want to talk to you, I guess, right out of the gate and talk a little bit about your beginnings, what kind of brought you to the place you're at now. I've kind of read over your story, and it's so inspiring, and I want to let you tell the listeners about it.
All right. Well, I would say it all started back around 6th grade. I would write poetry in my classes, mainly classes that I wasn't too fond of, and that became a hobby of mine quickly. I continued with that until around the time I was 18, and at that point I was in a class where I was writing a beat. I was writing to a beat that I had in my head, and when I finished my poem, I plugged it in with the beat, and I was ecstatic about it. I mean, I loved it. So I progressed with that, and I had wrote about 120 songs over the course of the next 3 years from there. That was from 18 to 21. I'm 22 now, and with those songs, I actually never ended up recording any of them because of the fact that I ended up falling into a bad downward spiral addiction to oxys. It's a painkiller, and that was a dark period of my life and a struggle to get out of. I finally had approached my dad, and I let him know that I really needed help. It really digressed quickly. It hit a point where I was thrown out of my house, and I even ended up spending the night sleeping on a park bench. And I came home, and I let my father know that I was ready to go away to a treatment facility. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, nobody wants to say, yeah, I went to rehab. But I wear my recovery like a badge of honor. I mean, I was told, put it this way, I was told it takes a man to admit he has a problem, and it takes a bigger man to go and fix it. And with that, I went away to a treatment facility. I was in a group therapy program, and in my therapy group, we were asked to write a goodbye letter to drugs. For me, more specifically, it would be to oxys. I wrote my letter. First, of course, I asked if it could rhyme because I saw some people were being a little creative about it.
Mhm.
And I made it real poetic. And eventually I found a beat that went and clicked with it perfectly. And I performed it while I was there, and people were inspired and they loved it. And I loved it too. There's a certain feeling you get when everybody's really enjoying what you're doing.
Mhm. Mhm.
They loved it. I loved it. I stayed out. The rehab facility I was in was in South Florida. I stayed out there for a little while. I ended up coming back to New York, Queens. This is where I'm born and raised, Whitestone, Queens.
Mhm.
With that, I ended up. I recently released my first mixtape titled Lyrical Therapy, and this is where I'm at right now. I actually just an hour ago released my most recent song on SoundCloud.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. Well, congratulations to you on that. And, you know, just listening to you talk, it just makes my heart so it just want to sing. Because, you know, you have such a wonderful story and an inspiring story. I mean, that you are a prime example of someone who has been to basically the brinks of hell, you know, if you will, and you found your way back. But I think the key to what you said was very, very critical, and that was that you admitted, you know, that you had a problem, and you not only admitted it, you wanted to do something about it. And it takes a very big person to admit that. I think that is always the first step with any addiction, be it drugs, alcohol, food, whatever it is. I think it, you know, when you have an addiction of any sort, you have to have that ignition factor that compels you to want to take that step further, because that's a very courageous and huge step to make when you're kind of in that place of admittance. But it's a very scary thing. Was it scary
really
for
humbling.
you at all?
Yeah, it was a scary thing, and it was real humbling. I mean, nobody wants to ask for help. You know, I definitely didn't. And I mean, look, it got me real far. I mean, I'm here now. It's been a year since I had went away, and I'm working 2 full-time jobs. I'm making music. I'm back in school, major in psychology. I have a lot going on. I actually just, on top of that song being released an hour ago, 20 minutes ago, I received word that there's a 5-man show that I'm putting together, and it consists of 2 comedians, a poet who I think is explosive, myself, and another hip hop artist, and I conducted the show and will be performing at the legendary Nuyorican Poets Café.
Oh, wow.
I'll have the date and details in a little while, but, I mean, the progression's been beautiful. It's been more than beautiful. And, I mean, I'm 5'10", 5'10", 5'11", and I was 125 pounds. A year later, I'm 165 pounds. I mean, there's a lot that changes over that span of time when you're doing the right thing.
And, you know, and as you, and I think you get affirmation of what you're doing as being the right thing when doors after door after door start to open. And they're open wide, you know, where you just walk through them. It's where it's just a clear sign that you're on the right path and you're doing what you're supposed to do. And, you know, and you know, when you look at your life now and you look at your life a year ago and you look at where you were, did you ever envision that you would be to the place you are right now?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I didn't see it going anywhere good. I saw it heading down the track of homeless or arrested. That's really where I saw it going. And
and I have a question for you on that note. Were you ever arrested at any time during that downward spiral that you were in?
I had been arrested a few times. Nothing I'm proud of. And,
right.
I mean, it made me who I am now. Everything I've been through, I don't regret because it made me who I am today.
Well, you know, it's interesting you would say that because I think everything we go through in life, no matter what we deal with, I've often been a big believer, you know, have this conversation a lot with my friends, and it's like, you know, even my kids, I'll say, you know, if you look at your life where you are right now and you kind of go in reverse, you can kind of see how all the dots connect. And, you know, and when you were that kid in 6th grade writing these poems, I mean, you didn't realize the journey that you were going to take to get to the point you were at right now. But obviously you had that gift even then. You just didn't realize it. I mean, you might have not realized it, but you didn't realize what you would be doing with it one day at that point in your life. But, you know, when you look backwards at your life and where you are right in this moment, it's like everything fit and everything had to happen in the order it had to happen for you to be where you are. And because you couldn't have gotten here any other way, you know, and you may have, but you might not have had the outlook on it that you do right now, you know.
Exactly. It's strange.
And
I don't impose religion on anybody, but I personally don't believe in luck or coincidences. I believe in God. That's where I stand. To each their own. But
well, I'm happy to hear you say that, because I believe in God too, and I believe that I don't think any of us can do anything on this earth. I mean, we can do pretty much anything we want to in terms of if we put our mind to anything. But I'm a firm believer that we are put where we are put in this world, and we are given the gifts we are given only because of God. I mean, there's no other place it could come from, you know. And you couldn't be where you are today without that faith and that strength within, because if you hadn't had that, you wouldn't be where you are today. You know, you couldn't have gotten through it. I mean, I've had family members that have struggled with addiction for years and are nowhere close to being where you are. I mean, they've tried and failed so many times, you know, just being on and off the wagon of that vicious addiction cycle, you know, and it's been a hard cycle to break. And, you know, with that comes so many other things that kind of fall into the mix. And it's a very, when you're trying to break an addiction, you're not just breaking the addiction, you're breaking all those other things that are tied to it. And it's a very, very hard hole to climb out of, you know. So anybody that's able to climb out of it, you know, gosh, kudos. I mean, it is probably one of the hardest things in the world, I think, to be able to overcome.
Yeah, this might be a bold statement, but if you ask me, I'd say every family in America has a family member or a family friend that has struggled with drug addiction or alcoholism, be it gambling, whatever, regardless of whatever it is. Every family knows somebody or has somebody in it.
I agree with you, and it's kind of like cancer.
It's a lot bigger.
It's kind of, you know, everybody knows somebody, whether it be in your own family, yourself, or outside of your family, in your close realm. You know, somebody who's had cancer. It's the same way with addiction, whether it be drugs or alcohol or any kind of addiction. Really, it's, you know, it's unfortunate, but it is. I'm inclined to agree with you on that. But it takes a lot of willpower, and it's not just getting through the addiction. It is, you know, it's a daily walk from that point forward, and it is. I think it is definitely a mindset, not only a lifestyle, but a mindset that you have to adopt, that you're going to stay true to for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
and
being clean is definitely a lifestyle. To be 22 and not drink is that's a lifestyle change. That's what 22-year-olds do.
Right.
I mean,
especially 22-year-olds that are in college, by the way.
Yeah, for some 22-year-olds, that's all they do. But yeah,
that's true. And some go off to college for the whole purpose of partying. So you know, it kind of goes without saying. But to be 22 and to have gone through what you have, I mean, it just blows my mind to think that you're 22, but you are so beyond your years in terms of your thoughts. And you know, but life experiences will change you and will make you grow and stretch beyond what you could ever envision, you know. And and that really has no age barrier, you know, that has no age never plays into it, I don't think. And so now you've got this incredible mixtape, Lyrical Therapy. And the Lyrical Therapy, talk a little bit about this mixtape, because it's strictly born of your experiences with addiction, or is it based on other things as well? Or just tell us a little bit about that.
This mixtape, a lot is branched off from my direct connection it's all 90% of it. It's all pure honesty. That's one thing that I pride myself in when I write lyrics, when I write poetry. Most of the time, it's a poem that becomes a song, and this is me connecting poetry directly to music. I don't write particularly for the listener. I write for myself, and I know that if I feel it, the other people will feel it. That's the way I see it. I've tried to write, a club banger, they call it, or whatever it is. And it doesn't work out for me, and I don't feel it. This is a poetic. Most of the CD is fully poetic, and it's lyrical therapy. For me, it was therapeutic. For a lot of other people that have gone through what I go through, it's therapeutic. Like you said, it's a daily walk.
Well, and the thing about it is that I find so inspiring about your story is that, you kind of had to fall from greatness, if you will, to kind of reach bottom and go to that place to be able to rise above and now use your talent for the good of so many people. I mean, this obviously was something that, lyrical therapy is such a fitting title for your mixtape. And obviously it was great therapy in helping get you through what you've been through. But think about all the people that now can identify with this very same thing who may have gone through similar circumstances. I mean, there's so many places that you can take this, because you have a real platform based on your own battles and struggles.
Before beginning this month, I begin touring rehabs all over the New York area. It's and I bring basically a positive message incorporated with positive music. That is recovery related. And this is,
that's awesome.
It's not a scheme to make money. I don't profit anything off of it, but it's something that, how do I put it? Addicts, we help each other. Alcoholics, we help each other. And they help me, and they still do help me. And this is my way of paying a little bit back.
That's beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. And, and because I've never been in an addiction situation myself personally, but I know plenty of people who have, and I've seen the struggles. And to me, that's got to be one of the hardest things to overcome, first of all. But I would think that if you go into these rehab centers and these recovery centers and you use your music, and your poetry through the hip-hop vein, I mean, it is going to change lives. I really believe it will, because I think sometimes half the battle is feeling like there's no hope, that you're hopeless, that you're never going to overcome it, and and that's a whole struggle within the struggle, that I think a lot of addicts do deal with. And so it is, to just have that glimmer of hope and to be able to see you on the backside of all of this, to say, hey, I've been there, I've lived it, and people know that when you're performing for them, you're not just performing and trying to pretend like you know what they're going through. You've lived it. So they know that it's total transparency. They know that there's nothing about you that's fake. And it's I don't know how it could be any more identifying than that. That's awesome. Absolutely incredible. Yeah.
And those are my people. I enjoy that more than anything. To branch off what you were saying earlier, you were saying that me writing back when I was in 6th grade, who I wouldn't have known that I would go through a series of events that would lead to me, using hip-hop as a healthy outlet and my attempt to inspire others. On top of that, I don't know if you know this, I'm a child of 2 deaf parents. They're fully hearing impaired. So I sign to them when we speak to each other. And I personally, I don't know how other people are with their parents, but for me personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable expressing my music to them. Or if they were to have heard my music, I would feel very, I don't know how to put it, awkward. Just, I don't know. I'm not the type of person to vent to my parents. That kind of fell into play real well, because I know they would have heard it by now if they could. And,
But
Beautiful.
make no mistake. Now, I have a daughter. My oldest daughter is 22. She's your age. And she's been through some of her own struggles. I mean, fortunately not drug or alcohol related, but she has had some struggles. And, and I can tell you from being a parent that it is very heart-wrenching to see your child go through anything that, you just want to reach out and fix it as a parent. But she's come through the struggles that she faced, and she's better for it. She's stronger because of it. Those struggles happened because she needed them, really, to be who she is now. But, the sense of pride that I have, seeing how she dealt with it, how she came through it, and now where she is as a result of it, it's indescribable. And so in terms of your parents, I feel it's the same feeling. I mean,
absolutely. Absolutely.
I honestly believe, because they've seen what you've been through, and they've seen now you're on the backside of it, and you're living proof that it getting help does work. I think they would completely embrace your music, because this is the byproduct of the result of what you went through, and it is, it's part of your story. It's part of your legacy. And I don't think they could be any prouder of you right now. Just know that you've, I think as parents, I just speak from being a parent myself, I think we always want our kids to do the right things and turn out okay and make good choices and all these things. But at the end of the day, we know that, you get to a point where, your kids they're gonna try to be independent. They're going to try to make those choices. It may not always be the ones you would choose or what have you, but at the end of the day, I think, you don't love them any less, and you still want the very best for them, regardless of whatever their best feels like it needs to be. And so I really think that your parents, if you're doing what you absolutely love and this is your passion and obviously it's your calling, they could not be any happier for you,
Of course. And personally, that's something I said a while back. My definition of success is my mother being proud. And I consider myself successful.
I'm not your mom, but I can tell you I'm very proud of you for how you have tackled this problem. And, and because, if you think about it, to be the age you are, 22 years old, and a year ago to say, I need help, and to get to that point, there's not a lot of, from the age of about, I say 13, really, but from the age, in that age of 17 to 21, there are so many kids, teens, and young adults that really are trying to prove themselves and trying to do it themselves because they don't want their parents' help, and they think that they can do it themselves. It's really what they believe, and it is a very, very hard thing for any teenager or young adult to go to their parents or any adult, really, and go, I need help, because that's a sign of weakness to a lot of teens and young adults. They don't like to think of themselves as being,
To be honest, the smartest thing I ever did. That was by far the smartest thing I ever did. And
well, if you had not have made that decision, it's no telling where you would be a year later. Yeah. And I think getting help is real important, but the person has to want it. I'm a firm believer in that as well. And it was the smartest thing I ever did. Now back to the song I was saying that I released at 6. That song is called Thank You. That song is my mother's point of view through my struggle is the first verse. The second verse is my father's point of view through my struggle. And then the third verse is me as I came out of the hardest part of my battle. Wow.
And it's a really deep song. And that's definitely something that would it directly relates to what we're saying right now.
Exactly. And I'm just blown away by that. That is, and it's just amazing how you've taken that journey musically. And little did you know at that point in time in your life how important music would come to be for you now, as an adult. And not just musically, but lyrically. The lyrics, of any song, I think, mean more to me than the beat. The beat the beat's always going to be good, but that lyric has got to make a statement to me. It's got to say something to me.
That's how I feel. That's why I have a hard time listening to hip hop nowadays. But that's a whole other topic that I doubt you'd want to pick my brain on. But the hip hop nowadays is a very difficult thing for me to listen to. That's why I'm not big on the radio anymore.
Mhm. Well, and I'm kind of there with you only because I love indie music and I love indie artists because the music is so diversified and there is so much talent, just steeped, enriched in all the music. And, you know, people like yourself, I feel like mainstream radio is missing out on because society needs Charlie Scott. You know, they need people like you providing these positive lyrics and this positive message and these, you know, being promoted because we have so much negativity in society as it is. There's not enough positivity, and that seems to overshadow everything.
Put it this way. When I tell somebody that I'm a hip-hop artist, there's a 9 out of 10 chance that they will never listen to my music just because of the stigma that goes along with it. Yeah. Just based off of that. And then I have people who don't listen to hip hop but have heard me and love it. And it's that stigma. But I do agree. There needs to be a lot more positivity in music.
Yeah,
positive role models in general.
I agree. And we are lacking for that in society, and it's unfortunate because, as you know, mainstream music is so prepackaged and it's kind of boxed in these categories and based on stereotypes and what society dictates is the most popular thing and the going thing for now. But some of the best stuff I've ever heard is not on the radio. It's on my radio. It's on my radio station. It's on my MP3. It's on my iPod. I mean, all that. But, some of the best stuff I've ever heard, including yours, is, needs to be on mainstream radio and is not. And that's a travesty. I really think it is because, there's so much music out there that is just good stuff. And
if it doesn't make
really
it, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. What I had in mind originally was I want to inspire other people, and if I can't do that, I at least just want a CD of myself to play in my own car. And next thing I know, I have so many other things going on. I mean, a lot happened so quick, and I grew as an artist so quick over the past year. I just learned what an indie artist was 2 weeks ago. Right? I grew as an artist so much over the past year. It's insane. It's hard to keep up with myself. And if it never makes it there, I'm okay with that because I've already accomplished a lot more with music than I had ever expected to.
Well, even if you never did another thing with music and just set music aside for a moment, what you have accomplished personally in your own journey with your struggle with addiction and coming through that is accomplishment that outweighs all accomplishments, in my opinion. The music is the easy part. You were kind of born to do that. But coming through that, the whole addiction process and being able to say, I made it, I don't think there's anything out there that can compare to that at all.
That's another thing. There's a lot of people that have come out of recovery and made it through that, but are ashamed that that's where they were. And that's another thing that that I want people to, realize and see through me and maybe get a little more comfortable about. There's nothing to be ashamed of. There's something to be more than proud of. And
exactly.
I mean, people seeing that, oh, really, he made it through that? And they would have never known just looking at you. That's something that it would help people if, they just knew.
Yeah, and the only shame there is in not admitting that you have a problem to begin with. That's the only shame. There's no shame in knowing that you came through it successfully. I mean, that is something to be, like you say, very proud about. But it's funny because my son, he's 17, and he's had some struggles, and he was telling me recently. He says, Mom, I was kind of looking through some of my old Facebook messages, and he's a born again Christian, and he is on fire for God, and he's doing all kinds of stuff in the worship ministry realm. And he was telling me the other day, just as a matter of fact, he was looking at some of his old Facebook email messages and stuff. He said, Mom, I was disgusted with myself. He said, I can't believe where I was a year and a half ago compared to now. And I said, well, yeah, that's where you were, but look where you are now because of where you were a year and a half ago. And that's something to be pretty proud of, but that's part of your testimony. That's part of your legacy. That's, and that is something that you yourself can offer to others as an inspiration and a motivation for, getting help too. And to let people know that help is out there and, that it's not a lost cause and that that it's something that can't be helped. It is something that's very powerful. And I love what you're doing as a result of all this. I hate that you had to go through what you went through, but in a way, I'm thankful that you experienced it because you are able to give something now back to the world that you would have probably never been able to do before in this way, in such a profound way. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Certainly.
Can I say hi to somebody?
You certainly may. You can say whatever you want. This is your moment in time, man.
Cool. I wanted to say hi to my whole Inspired Word family and to my girl, Carol. Mm-hmm. They've been supporting me and helping me out through a lot of things, and I just want to say hello.
Oh, well, you're more than welcome to say hello. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell the listening audience where they can look you up and find you, because I'm sure there are people out there who would love to chat with you, and and especially who may be struggling with some of the same things that you have. But you can actually follow Charlie on Twitter. It's Charlie Scott Rock, R-O-C. And you can also look him up on Facebook, Charlie Scott, and
as well as the music that I put out, my most up-to-date music I keep on SoundCloud.com, and the profile is Charlie Scott Hip Hop. But through Facebook, if anybody wants to talk, I'm more than open to talk to anybody. Just look me up, Charlie Scott. Plain and simple. 2 names, 2 first names.
And one quick question, though, because I wanted to reiterate this again. When is this 5-man show going to go down that you are working on currently?
That I'll be posting on Facebook tonight.
Okay.
I will have it's in Manhattan, in the city,
okay.
And I will have the details at 9:00 tonight.
Perfect. Well, be sure and get that to us as well, because we will help promote that out. We'll put it on our website so that people can check it out there, and we'll promote it out on social media as well. We're happy to get the word out about you, as much and as often as possible. You're awesome, and I want to congratulate you for coming through your struggles as you have to the other side, into the light from the darkness, and now really doing something great with your gift and your talent. You are a true blessing.
Thank you, Dawn, and I really appreciate everything. You're a sweetheart.
Well, thank you, and you are too, and I'm just it always warms my heart when I can talk to someone like you who has had, has not only been through really rough stuff, but you're able to come through it, and you share your story, and it helps people, and it inspires people, and heck, it inspires me. I've never struggled with addiction, but it makes me want to go out there and be the best I can be as well. So you're inspiring all kinds of people, and you may not realize it, but you are. And that's one of the magics of the beauty of this, as a whole. So, but I would love to have you back anytime to touch base, to find out what you're doing, because I'm telling you, the doors are starting to fly wide open for you, my friend. And I think a year from now, it may be hard getting you on the show, because there's no telling where you're going to be.
I'll be more than happy to chat with you anytime.
What a great problem that would be to have.
Yeah, right.
So, but we'd love to speak with you. You're awesome, and I wish you the very, very best. I do indeed.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome. You're welcome back anytime. Take care of yourself, and keep us updated on what's happening with you.
All right, I'll check in with you real soon.
All right. Take care, Charlie.
Take care.
All right. Good night. I just concluded this interview, and I just have this tremendous smile on my face, because Charlie Scott, he he's been the best thing to happen to me today. I mean, I had a really, really rough day at work, and as I have of late, there's been a lot of stuff going on where I work, and unfortunately, this is not my day job. I wish it were, and I hope one day it will be. But to just get on air tonight and to be able to chat with someone like him, it just made me forget all about how my day was. Because, when I listened to him share his story and I realized where he's been, all of a sudden my day didn't seem so bad after all. It really makes you put things in perspective, and it makes you feel really blessed to know, that you can have what you have, and the bigger blessing is meeting people like Charlie Scott who have been down these roads of life that, some of us have never, even in our mind, couldn't even imagine where we would be. But to just be able to meet someone like him, we're all connected for a reason, and not trying to get deep on you here, but I just believe it's all part of the perfect plan of our Lord. Charlie he's a phenomenal human being, and I believe he is going to have an awesome career. And the thing that I love the most about speaking with him tonight is he's so incredibly humble. He's got he's doing what he feels led to do, and that is more important than money or fame, because the lives that he will touch as a result of where he's been and where he's headed will be bigger and greater than they could be in any other platform, if he were performing as an artist in any other way. So our very best to him, and we do look forward to having him back in the very, very near future. And so that is going to wrap our show for tonight. And I hope that you've enjoyed that. And if you're a first-time listener to our show, we hope that this will not be your last. You can join us anytime. We do a weekly show here on Saturday night called Indie Artist Showcase, where we showcase a lot of music of indie artists. And I probably will be getting some of Charlie's music. I didn't have it in time for the show tonight, but I'll be getting some of his music from the mixtape that he's just released, and get that on and showcase some of that and let y'all listen to, his music and his style. I think you will be inspired as I have been. And for that, I would like to say I hope everyone has a great night. Enjoy the rest of your week. Tomorrow is Friday. Hello and hallelujah for that. The weekend is coming. And so I hope you all have a great weekend. And I hope you've enjoyed this show tonight as much as I have. Take care, all, and we'll be back with you real soon. Good night.
Tonight's show has been brought to you by One Taste of Main Street Cake Shop, baked from scratch, custom-made cakes and cupcakes, and you'll be hooked. Every cake is made to order with only the finest and freshest ingredients. This is no ordinary bakery. Cakes are never pre-made. Main Street Cake Shop is in demand, having provided cakes and cupcakes for numerous prestigious events, bridal fairs, and venues. Owned and operated by April Murray, she has garnered many awards for not only her exquisite cake designs, but also for their incredible taste. If you're looking for a cake for any occasion, or cupcakes in a variety of flavors, then Main Street Cake Shop is the place. Visit them on the web at mainstreetcakeshop.com.